Hey everyone, ready to dive into the future of education? We've got a lot to unpack today.
It's going to be big. There's so much going on in ed tech right now.
It really feels like we're on the edge of something huge.
Yeah.
You sent over some awesome articles about this, so I'm ready to dig in.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got the one from Startup Weekly, How Technology is Changing the Future of Education.
And the other one, How Technology is Impacting the Future of Education.
Yeah.
So much to unpack there.
Totally. And you know, AI, VR, assistive tech, these aren't just buzzwords anymore. They're becoming core parts of how we learn.
It's so true. And honestly, when I hear AI in education, I can't help but think of those old sci-fi movies with robot teachers.
Oh, yeah, like robot professors with calculators for brains.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it sounds like what we're talking about here is way more complex than that.
Way more nuanced, yeah. Think of it this way. Imagine you're back in school and you're stuck on a math problem, like really stuck.
Been there. Algebra. Oh my gosh.
Right. So instead of just feeling lost, you've got this AI tutor that's right there with you, and it can tell you're struggling.
Okay, that's interesting.
And not only that, it actually adjusts the lesson to fit how you're learning at that moment.
So it's like having a personal tutor who gets you. Not like those textbooks that are written for a million people at once.
Exactly. And this isn't just some far-off idea. The AI education market's expected to hit something like $6 billion by 2024. That's up from just $500 million.
Wow, that's huge. I mean, makes sense though, right? If this tech really can help people learn better, who wouldn't want it?
Totally. But it does make you wonder, what happens to human teachers if AI gets so good at this stuff?
Right. That's the big question, isn't it? Do teachers just get replaced by computers?
It's something people worry about, for
Yeah.
sure. But here's the thing. AI isn't about replacing teachers. It's about making them even better.
More like a sidekick than a takeover. I like that.
Exactly. Imagine teachers freed from the stuff that bogs them down grading mountains of papers, answering the same basic questions over and over. AI can handle that.
It's like AI takes care of the busy work, so teachers can actually, well, teach.
Right. They can focus on the things AI can't do, mentoring, inspiring, really connecting with their students.
Because at the end of the day, as cool as technology is, I think we all crave that human connection, that passion a real teacher brings to the classroom.
Couldn't agree more. And speaking of changing things up, let's talk about VR. This has the potential to totally revolutionize how we learn, especially in subjects that are, well, kind of boring sometimes.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Give me an example.
Imagine instead of just reading about ancient Rome in a textbook,
Textbooks.
you put on a VR headset and you are there. You're walking through the Colosseum, feeling the energy of the crowds, seeing everything come to life.
Oh, wow. That's what I'm talking about. It's one thing to read about history. It's another to practically live it. And I've heard something like 65% of people are visual learners.
Yeah, it's a huge chunk of us. VR could be a game changer for them. Makes learning more intuitive, more effective.
So instead of dissecting a frog in biology class,
You're dissecting a virtual frog.
no formaldehyde fumes. I'm in. But seriously, VR always seems so expensive and high-tech.
It can be, sure, but it's becoming more accessible all the time. We've got things like Google Cardboard, which lets you experience VR just using your smartphone.
Right. That makes it way more doable. And speaking of smartphones, even just using AR on our phones opens up a world of possibilities.
No kidding. It's like having a science lab, a history museum, all in your pocket.
Students could be exploring 3D dinosaur skeletons without even leaving the classroom. That's amazing.
That's the future we're talking about.
And it's not just about making things cooler and more engaging, right? This assistive technology, it's like using tech to make education fairer for everyone, no matter how they learn best.
100%. We've been talking about personalization, right? And assistive tech takes that to a whole new level. It really does. Like, imagine a student who struggles with reading, maybe because of dyslexia. Instead of just falling behind, they've got text-to-speech software that reads things aloud for them, or special fonts that make the letters easier on the eyes.
It's like giving them the tools to learn at their own pace, on their own terms. That can make all the difference for their confidence, Makes them excited about learning instead of dreading it.
Exactly. Or think about students with ADHD. There's tech for that, to note-taking apps, organization tools, even things to help manage time. These can be total game changers for helping those students stay focused.
It's like instead of trying to force kids into a box that doesn't fit, technology helps us build a system that adapts to them. We were talking about AI tutors earlier. Those fit into this too, right?
For sure. Imagine a student with autism, for example. They might need a little extra time to process things, or maybe they don't feel comfortable asking questions in a big classroom. Well, a chatbot could be perfect for that. Patient, non-judgmental, can answer the same question a million times if needed.
It's about creating that safe space for them to learn and grow. This personalized support, it can be so, so crucial.
It really is. It's about recognizing that we all learn in our own ways, and tech can help us create schools that celebrate those differences.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot of amazing stuff today. AI tutors, virtual classrooms, tech that helps everyone learn, no matter their challenges. But like, with any big change, there are always downsides, right?
Yeah.
What are some of the things we need to watch out for as we go down this road?
You're spot on. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. One of the biggest concerns is that this tech could actually make the gap between the haves and have-nots even bigger. You know, the digital divide.
Because not everyone has access to the same resources, right?
Exactly. If we're not careful, some students will get left behind. We need to make sure every student has a computer, reliable internet, and the support to use it all. It's not just about having the tech, it's about making sure everyone can actually use it.
So equity is huge. What else?
Well, another thing. As amazing as all this tech is, we can't forget that learning is also about human connection.
Yeah. It's about working together, talking to each other, learning how to be a good friend and classmate.
All those things. So while tech can definitely help with some of that, we need to make sure kids are still getting plenty of face-to-face time too. You know, real human interaction.
So it's all about balance, right?
Yeah.
Like, how do we embrace all this cool new tech without losing the things that make education, well, human?
You got it. Oh, and one more thing that's super important, data privacy. With all this tech in schools, we're collecting more information about students than ever before. We need to be really careful with that.
We need to make sure that data is being used responsibly. It's a big responsibility.
Huge. Parents, teachers, everyone needs to be asking tough questions. Who has access to this data? How is it being used? What's being done to keep it safe? These are conversations we need to be having.
It's a tricky thing, isn't it? Like, we don't want to shy away from all this amazing tech.
Yeah.
But we can't just throw out everything we know about good teaching either.
It's a tightrope walk for sure. And you know, there's another potential downside we haven't even touched on yet. The risk that all this personalization could actually stifle creativity and critical thinking.
Really? That's interesting because we've been talking about how tech can help students who learn differently, how we can tailor things to their needs. How could that be a bad thing?
Well, think about it. If algorithms are feeding students a constant stream of information that's perfectly tailored to their existing knowledge, always confirming what they already know and like, well, that doesn't leave much room for growth, does it?
So, instead of being challenged with new ideas, different perspectives, students might just end up stuck in their own little bubbles.
Exactly. It's the echo chamber effect. And that's the opposite of what we want from education. Part of learning is about wrestling with tough questions, hearing viewpoints you don't agree with, and figuring out how to think for yourself.
It's about more than just memorizing facts. It's about developing those critical thinking skills, that ability to see the world from multiple angles.
100%. So we need to be smart about how we design these personalized learning platforms. It's not enough to just tailor the content. We need to tailor the entire experience in a way that encourages curiosity, open-mindedness, all of that.
So really the role of the teacher becomes even more crucial in this tech-driven future.
Absolutely. As amazing as technology is, it can't replace a good teacher. That passion they bring, the way they can guide and inspire, that human connection is irreplaceable.
It really is. At the end of the day, education is about so much more than just absorbing information. It's about nurturing a love of learning, about building critical thinking and empathy. Those are the skills that'll last a lifetime.
Couldn't agree more. We're standing at the edge of something really incredible. This technology has the potential to make education more engaging, more effective, more equitable than ever before. But we have to be thoughtful about it. We have to be ethical. And we have to remember that technology is a tool, not a magic bullet.
So to everyone listening, no matter where you are on your learning journey, whether you're a student, a parent, an educator, or just someone who cares about the future, you have a role to play in shaping this new world of education. Stay curious, stay engaged, and keep asking those tough questions.
Well said.
This has been a fascinating conversation. Thank you so much for diving into this with me.
The pleasure was all mine.
And to all of you listening, thank you for joining us on The Deep Dive. Until next time, keep exploring and keep on learning.